Hello everybody, my name is Jayden Campbell and you're watching In Frame. Today I have the honor of talking with Danny Lemos, the previous manager here at 22 West Media. He's an active dog lover and radio lover with years of radio experience, including involvement with being a music director, show writer, and a stand-up comic. Still kicking and having fun at KLBP Radio, Danny continues to spread his contagious laughter and energy throughout all that he does. Danny Lemos, welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Alrighty, so our first question for you is, in your LinkedIn, you specifically say that you fell in love with radio in 1996 at KXLU 88.9, and as we can see, you are still very much in love with radio today. So how would you say you found out you wanted to go down this path, and also, how did you know that you wanted to help others go into radio as well?
Well, first of all, it was 1976 at KXLU, and I was in the seminary, the Jesuit seminary.
Okay.
And they said, you have to go do something to mix with regular human beings. So go find something. And I walked into the radio station, and it seemed like fun. I mean, when you walk into a working radio station that's on the air. So I wanted to stay. And I remember walking to the station on campus at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Friday to do a radio show to the dormitories, carrier current radio. Maybe there was 3 people listening, and I knew I was in love with radio if I would do that at 4 o'clock in the morning. So
nice.
I loved it, and I never looked back. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome.
And your second part of your question was?
How did you know that you wanted to help others get into radio as well?
I think that really came out of my formation as a Jesuit. Man for others is their slogan. And so basically you're dedicated to service. So just helping people was my nature. So when somebody came up and said, show me how to do that, or show me how to do this, I would happily do that. That's easy for me. And so it just became a thing where if you're passionate about something and you want some help and I'm just as passionate, I'm definitely gonna help you out.
Nice, that's so awesome. Alrighty, so our next question for you is, we know you as the previous manager here at 22 West Media, but for those in the audience who do not know who you are, can you describe what it means being a media manager?
Well, in my tenure, I had coordination of the students who ran 22 West. So my job was really to keep the train on the tracks, so to speak, and to empower them to do what they wanted to do. And also to interface with ASI on the things like budgets and expenses and stuff like that. So it's really about, I always felt like it was a fast-moving train, and I almost didn't have control of it, but it was kind of nice that the students did.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
In a way, yeah.
Alrighty, next question. Can you tell us about your time now at KLBP Radio, and what do you miss most about 22 West Media?
I think what I miss most is the availability of students always being around, because they come from class and they're there, and there's so much excitement and energy. So working downtown, right now we're in a basement below Shannon's Bar and Grill on Pine Avenue, and it's usually me and one other person at the station at one time. It's not the same robust staff, but we have a dedicated staff. I'm the general manager there and the president of their board, and my job is to sort of keep things moving along. And I'm learning a lot that I didn't learn here about motivating people who aren't like in a class or have a reason to be there. So it's difficult to motivate people to do what they want if they're not passionate about it. So basically I try to look for the people that are just in love with radio or they want to learn more, and then I just bring them along and say, come on, help us out.
All right, what is a specific memory that you are very fond of that you had here at 22 West Media?
Wow, there's so many, but I think one that really stands out was the day we dedicated the HD radio station. It was a big event, and all of the administration came. The president dedicated the station. That was a proud moment for our students and for us, finally having accomplished that. That was one. But there's so many different moments that I'm so proud of. You know, winning awards is always a great moment when your student wins an award.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always great. So things like that. Yeah.
Cool, I love that. All right, for our next segment, we actually wanted to have a little bit of fun. So we wanted to know if you could explain what this picture means to you, or what was going on when this picture was taken.
That's Kellum Mugler, and he's a big, popular bodybuilder. That picture was taken, I think, at the expo, the fitness expo one year. I competed for 9 years in men's bodybuilding. I started competing at age 39. and competed all through my 40s and into my 50s in competitive bodybuilding. I won 9 places, mostly second and third places, and it kept me out of the bars, kept me healthy. I think I'm sitting here today because I didn't spend a lot of time doing drugs and drinking when I was in my 30s, but it was a big passion for me. And it's because somebody said, that's something you can never do. Well, don't ever tell me that.
Yeah.
Because then I decided I had to do it. And so one of the trainers at my gym said, I'll put $500 on the line. And I took that bet and I won it.
Nice. Alrighty, so what advice would you give to somebody who wants to do what you do and just being a manager or working with 22 West Media overall?
I think if somebody wants to be a manager in media, first of all, do everything you can to learn every bit about it. And that doesn't mean they have to master all of it, but you should know something about each of the procedures that you're involved with, especially nowadays. You can't just be specializing in one. You got to know a little bit about everything, including social media, which is something that wasn't around when I started. But it's also important to know as much as you can, number one, and then look for opportunities. Don't be afraid to ask people if you can help out. The reason I started here was I didn't have a job, and I thought I could help out while I'm looking for a job.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to them here until 5 years later that I was the perfect candidate for the job, so I finally got the position. But it was about giving myself away, and I recommend that to people. If you can't get paid to do it, give yourself away. It'll impress people like you can't believe. It just shows up, wow, that guy, you gotta hire that guy.
Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Perfect. And lastly, we have this camera right here for you. So is there anything that you want to say to the world before we finish up?
I think if I had one thing to say, it would be truth matters. And find out where your sources of your news are coming from. And investigate where they're coming from. And know where you can find the truth. Because especially now in this election cycle, it really matters, the truth. And you're not getting all sorts of truth from all these various sites you see on social media or online. Investigate your sources. I would say that'd be the most important thing to know, because it's kind of going to be the hallmark of the generation that's coming up now in media, to safeguard us from falsehoods, you know. It's just really, it's out there. Everybody's opinion seems to hold more weight than it should, in a sense. But there is truth, and you can find it if you look for it.
Well, that about does it for our show. Thank you so much to Danny for coming out here and sharing your story. And thank you, the viewers, for sticking around and watching. I'm Jayden Campbell, and this has been In Frame with Danny Lemos. We'll see you next time.